Welcome to my reflective video assignment for Paris Spring Break Study Abroad. What excited me the most about traveling to Paris prior to leaving Detroit was food. These are all TikToks that popped up on my For You page prior to arriving to Paris, but they're all mostly food, so that's what I started to look forward to. I didn't get the chance to try every food that I had on my list, but I did try hot chocolate, and more hot chocolate, which were all on my list of foods to try. I had lots of great discoveries while in Paris, so it was hard to choose my greatest discovery, but a time when I was really shocked was when I found the water fountain. I was in the group that presented water, but I didn't actively look for a fountain, so when I found it, I was really shocked. However, something that did disappoint me was also the water. I am a server at a restaurant in Michigan, so we naturally bring water to tables, but the thought of having to ask for water each time was a bit disappointing. Like, I already knew that we had to prior because we learned that in the class, but also whenever I went to like Monoprix and Franprix, there were no cases of water. But that does lead me back to Paris's mission, which is to be the first city with 0 plastic bottles of water. So that made sense as to why I never found actual cases of waters in stores. Something that also really disappointed me was Notre Dame. It was not like the history part of it, but it was when we attended the actual mass service. It felt more commercialized, and I did get chased down the aisle, basically, but... I am African American, so when comparing my culture to Parisian culture, I did find many differences. For example, when I went to a hotel with other classmates to go to their bathroom, the man who let us use the bathroom asked me where I'm from, so I told him America. Then he said, "No, what kind of African are you?" And I said, "I don't know, I'm African American." He then told me that I was a beta African, which I don't know what that is, but this showed me that those who are also black in other countries expect for other black people to know their origins and where they are really from. This made me want to take a 23andMe test. Also, although I did see black people in certain areas of Paris, there weren't as many as there are, of course, compared to the United States. Similarities I found between the two cultures are that when you are around loved ones, you can get loud and not care about what others around you are thinking when you're having fun. Although we often say that Parisians are quiet and to themselves, when we went to group dinners, I often heard Parisians yell and laugh loudly when around loved ones, which I think is just a normal human thing to do. So that was a cool thing to see as a similarity. There are many ways in which we could incorporate French culture into U.S. culture, which would be as a benefit to us. But one way we could incorporate French culture in the United States is just by having more manners in general. And this was shown to me through the metro system. For example, each time someone had to get through in the metro or when someone bumped into me by mistake, someone always said, "Pardon." But one time a man did bump into me really hard, which I think was an attempt to pickpocket me. Although people do say excuse me, of course, when they try to get past you in the United States, I've experienced people not saying anything multiple times in the United States, but listen to this. Almost each time I took the metro, no one spoke, which I saw as a form of manners. For vice versa, I think Paris could incorporate better roads for driving because although Paris has a metro system, which I see as an amazing thing compared to the United States, whenever I was in a car, I thought we would crash because the turns and placement of stop signs and lights just seemed really odd to me, but I never witnessed a car crash, so it seems to work for them. Now I'm going to talk about my top 5 experiences. My 5th favorite experience are the tours with Iris. Iris was such a great tour guide. She gave the clearest explanations, full of information, while also being a bit silly, which kept my attention.
His name is quite unfortunate. He was called Koshitsky.
I never felt the need to wander off or doze off while she spoke, which doesn't always occur for me, especially when I'm fed tons of information.
Banners. So he said, I want to remember our victory, so make me a pastry shaped like a crescent. It's not meringue.
The food tour was indeed my favorite.
Cover them with the cream.
My 4th favorite experience is the Moulin Rouge. There were so many dancers, which were women and men, but the women were the stars of the show, period. I would really recommend going to see it next time you're in Paris. My 3rd favorite experience is the Arc de Triomphe. When I heard that we were going up 300 stairs, I thought that it would take me an hour to go up, but it didn't, and I did survive, so I felt proud of myself. My 2nd favorite experience was when I went to the Metro alone. I decided to go to the Metro alone for the first time at night to go to Pont de Neuf. I was really nervous that I would get lost because honestly at first I just followed others when going to the Metro, but this time I had to figure everything out by myself. But I successfully rode the Metro to Pont de Neuf alone. Watch the view. I did get on the wrong one on the way back though. And coming in first place, my favorite moment was seeing the Eiffel Tower at night. I just enjoyed sitting and watching the Eiffel Tower sparkle and dancing with my classmates that became friends. It felt like we were always on the move in Paris, which was true, so it felt nice to just sit and watch the Eiffel Tower. This is a To Me a Hustle, by the way. Also, when I saw the Eiffel Tower, it made me actually realize that we were there in Paris. Also, I never saw videos of the Eiffel Tower actually turning black, so that was a surprise.
Not even the yellow one?
If I went back to Paris for one day, I would basically go on my own food tour. Like, I had a whole list of restaurants to go to, but I only went to like a few of them. Yes, they are doing the To Be a Hustle in the Louvre. So I really enjoyed observing another culture in another country, and I can't wait to do it again. Until next time, Petty.